Hi everyone. So there's uproar in the media at the moment over Saudi Arabian journalist Jamal Khashoggi, who it seems was murdered and dismembered in the Saudi embassy in Turkey by a 15-man hit squad that flew in on two private planes. And the Saudis are, of course, denying it and say, oh, we didn't do this. And there was reports come out that it was rogue killers, I think President Trump said after being on the phone to MBS. This is the latest. This is from Zero Hedge. Other outlets have picked this up now. I was just waiting for other outlets to pick it up before I actually did a video on it. I'm trying to actually do some research for my other videos, Venezuela and climate change today, but I had to come live and do this because Khashoggi murder suspect dies in suspicious car accident. A 31-year-old lieutenant in the Saudi Royal Air Force said to have participated in the killing of Saudi writer Jamal Khashoggi died in a, quote, suspicious car accident in Riyadh, according to Turkish media. Accident. Mashal Saad al-Bastani was reportedly on a 15-man hit squad dispatched to Saudi Arabia's Istanbul consulate in Turkey on October the 2nd during Khashoggi's visit, before the team quickly left the country, according to Daily Yeni Safak. Al-Bastani entered Turkey at 1:45 a.m. local time. He stayed at the Wyndham Grand Hotel and left the country at 9:46 p.m. local time on a private jet which belonged to the Sky Prime aviation company. Bastani's alleged role in the murder of the Saudi journalist are unclear, as are the details of the traffic accident in Riyadh, prompting accusations of a cover-up by those who orchestrated the Khashoggi hit. Meanwhile, a columnist for Turkey's Daily Hurriyet wrote on Thursday that Mohammed Al-Ataibi, my apologies if I get any of these names wrong, Saudi Arabia's Istanbul Consul General, would be, quote, the next execution. Turkish Daily Yeni Safak reported October the 7th that Al-Ataibi's voice could be heard in one of the recordings which Turkish authorities are believed to have of Khashoggi's, quote, interrogation at the consulate. According to the report, after Al-Ataibi told the interrogators to, quote, do it somewhere else outside or I will be in trouble, he was told to, quote, shut up if you want to live when you are back in Saudi Arabia. Al-Ataibi returned to Saudi Arabia on October the 16th before his residence in Istanbul was searched by police for more than 8 hours on October the 17th and 18th. In the name of Allah, I posted 2 days ago that the members of that hit team would soon be killed. They need to go to the Turkish consulate. Local news media Interpol for safety, then tell the truth about Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's plot. And that's a tweet. Another suspect's photograph was released from security footage on October the 18th by newspaper Sabah, which reports that 47-year-old intelligence officer Abdulaziz M. Mutraib, who previously served at Saudi Arabia's London embassy, landed in Istanbul at 3:38 on October the 2nd and went to his country's Istanbul consulate at 9:55. Hours after Khashoggi's arrival and disappearance, Mutraib left the consulate and visited the consul's residence at 4:53 p.m, left his hotel at 5:15 p.m. and arrived at the Ataturk airport. Man, these difficult to read these. For his return trip on a private jet at 5:58 p.m. Mutraib had travelled extensively with the Crown Prince, perhaps as a bodyguard, according to an October the 16th report in the New York Times. Khashoggi, a US resident and Washington Post columnist who was critical of the Saudi government, reportedly took 7 minutes to die, according to the Middle East Eye and the Wall Street Journal. In perhaps the most gruesome details of the report, Middle East Monitor reported that Dr. Salah Mohammed Al-Tabaigi, who was identified by the Times and other media outlets as an autopsy expert, whose presence cuts against Saudi suggestions that the killing wasn't premeditated, started cutting Khashoggi's body into pieces while the journalist was unconscious but still breathing. Previously, Khashoggi had been knocked unconscious after being injected with a mysterious substance. Maybe it was Novichok. didn't kill him. Later, the New York Times reported that the hit squad cut off Khashoggi's fingers. Jesus. While he was still conscious during an interrogation where he was also beaten and tortured before being dragged into another room where they finished butchering him. According to the Wall Street Journal, voices on the tapes can be heard asking the Saudi consul to leave his office before the hit squad murdered Khashoggi. The consul Al-Atabi departed Turkey for Riyadh Tuesday afternoon after the Saudis, in a sudden reversal, denied Turkey's request to search Atabi's residence, saying his home was off limits to investigators. And other outlets have picked this up. I can't be the only one thinking this. I can't be the only one thinking this. As I say, other outlets have picked it up, the New York Post. I've said this before with regards to the Christopher Steele, Sergei Skripal connection. There's no such thing as a coincidence. Rule number 39. I used to watch this when I used to watch television. NCIS. I like Leroy Gibbs. I like the character. I like his rules. No such thing as a coincidence. Not when it comes to this. I can't be the only one thinking this. Mike Pompeo arrives in Saudi Arabia yesterday, has a 15-minute meeting with MBS. 15 minutes. Apparently that's all it was. 12-hour flight, 15-minute meeting. And then today, one of the people who were allegedly there, one of these 15 men, and there's other people who pointed out, by the way, Saudi Arabia seem to like the number 15, don't they? Was it 15 of the 19 hijackers were Saudi Arabian? Anyway, one of them has suddenly died, been killed in a car accident. I'm going to go to the chat now. I'm going to try and find anybody who doesn't think this is a little suspicious. Hi everyone. Why they kill him? This is just disrupted. These guys think it's a 007 film. Because he knew the Saudi regime was unstable and MBS was lying, says Amran. This is way too much of a coincidence for this not. I mean, come on. Come on. Pull the other one. Does anybody in the chat now, I don't know how many, there's 134 people watching, does anybody believe that this is just an accident? Anybody, please. There's 137 people. Please, come on, I want to take a poll. Does any of you actually think that this was an accident? Hi, James and Tesla and Luther, Torino. It's most certainly suspicious, Uncle Torino. That is the understatement of the century. Remember, we are aligned with Saudi Arabia. This is Theresa May's best buddies and Donald Trump's best buddies. And not only are they killing and chopping up and dismembering journalists, but now they're killing anybody. Can you imagine? Just imagine what went on in that meeting yesterday. Can you imagine? You know, they're obviously desperately trying to come up with the least worst lie right now. The Saudi Arabians, they know the eyes of the world, the eyes of the West are on them. So they're trying to come up with the least worst lie. Now, how can they come up with the least worst lie if there are loose ends? If there are loose ends and there are people that they think might talk and might actually tell the truth. Thank you, Gabriel. I really appreciate that, mate. Feel the love from Sweden, Gordon. I'm pretty sure his killing was green-lighted by the CIA. Well, knowing the CIA and reading about them over the last 8-9 months and horrific things that they've done over the last 1948, so that's 70 years. Nothing would surprise me with regards to them. Nothing at all. Saudis are good people, says Tesla. Yes, the Saudis are good people. I totally agree with you. Just as Syrians, they're good people. The Saudis are good people. The Saudi regime, however, not so much. Not so much. James says the probability of a young guy dying in an accident so soon after being implicated is infinitesimal. Infinitely small. It's incredibly... Come on. I mean, there's not even a veil here. There's not even a veil. Mission says as dead as Sethwich. Damn. What's the world coming to, man? Tesla says, Gordon, what do you think about Israel? I think Israel is probably the biggest danger to the world. Is the truth. That's what I think about Israel. I think Jewish people are great. I have no problem with Jewish people at all. Israel and the far-right Likud party and their basic genocide against Palestinians, that's, you know, I'm on the Palestinian side there. I mean, the Palestinians by no means are innocent in that conflict, but come on, one side has got flaming kites and the other one has got nuclear weapons. This isn't a fair fight, you know. Kasfad says the king had his own illegitimate son killed because he was dark-skinned. Luther says CIA are the original terrorists. I don't know about that. No, they don't do good things around the world, put it this way. Scott says the guy on YouTube, Blackstone, has brilliant coverage about Khashoggi. Very interesting indeed. The only time I've seen Blackstone Intelligence was the video he did on, you remember the Skripals going through that security checkpoint, and the photo that was weird. He did an analysis of that photo and concluded that it was the same camera. There wasn't enough evidence in that for me. I mean, unless you can literally superimpose, you know, one over the other. I didn't think there was enough in that. But he's no doubt he really does go in depth, that's for sure. The guy at Blackstone Intelligence, I don't know what his name is. You know what? Anthony Brown. I was thinking the same thing. I bet the other 14 are in hiding now, scared to death. Then the other 14. Wow. Hi, Neil. Only conspiracy theorists would think the Saudi government is anything but peace-loving humanitarians, keen to promote women's rights throughout the Middle East. Hashtag sarcasm. You missed off the end of that, Neil. Oh, dear me. This is just... How? This is the question I want to ask. How are the West and the Western politicians and the Western governments, the UK government and the American government and Trump and May, how are they on earth going to spin this? We know that they want to keep in league with Saudi Arabia. Trump came out and said he didn't want to put sanctions on Saudi Arabia because of the jobs that will be lost from the military-industrial complex because of the arms deals that they've got. I think 18.5 billion has been signed and there's another like 90 billion to go. There's 90 billion there. How are they going to spin it to keep these arms contracts in place? Are they going to have to sell them through a third party now? Like Reagan did with Iran, the Iran scandal. I can't. I've been thinking about it for the last hour. How are they going to spin it? How? And come out of this without, you know, I mean, the veil has been lifted now on Saudi Arabia. Everybody knows now. Even people who were totally oblivious to it, thought Saudi Arabia were the good guys and our allies, so they must be the good guys. Even people who were oblivious to it must be looking at this now and thinking, these are our allies, these are the people we are supporting in a genocide of Yemen. These are the people who we are supporting in their genocide in Yemen. Our government, my government in the UK, yours in the US if you're in the US. We are supporting. There is no way that their planes could even take off and go into Yemen airspace without the UK's and the US's say so. We could stop that war in an instant. We could stop the genocide in Yemen in an instant by pulling our support for that war. We rearm the planes, we rearm the tanks, we give them the coordinates and the intelligence of which targets to kill, which targets to hit, which makes me think, are we giving them the targets of these, markets and buses with children in? Are we the ones giving them these targets? How are they going to spin it? I cannot see how they are going to spin this and not pull our support for this war in Yemen. We have to. It's absolutely critical. Blackstone intelligence is good, says Mohamed Baradain. Yeah, I mean, I've got no doubt there. His work was excellent. He just didn't convince me with that one video. Tesla says, are you trying to use this card against Trump administration to elect Democrat back to power? And then he laughs. So, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm pro-Democrat, of course I am. I'm probably hard on the Democrats than I am. In fact, I hardly ever talk about the Republicans. It's the Democrats. I mean, they're meant to be the good guys. That's why I talk about them. Thomas Rittenhouse. Hi, Thomas says, with Fox Spews, we'll sell it to the right-wingers here. The right here don't care about brown people. You do know that this is the US right. I disagree with you there. Right-wingers, I think right-wingers are just as much anti-war as the voters are, anyway. Right, I know plenty of right-wing. I know plenty of right-wingers who subscribe to my channel. They're not evil, nasty people. They're not. There was a report I saw on RT actually came out. It was something like 78% of Americans are not bipartisan. They want, they're not blinded, and they won't blindly vote Republican or Democrat. Something like 78%. They actually want to vote for somebody who appeals to them. It's just in America you haven't got a choice. It's totally shitty or slightly less shitty, depending on how you look at it. Cheryl Brandon says, if $100 million is $100 million the answer, what could be the question? If $100 million is the answer, what could be the question? How much money did Pompeo demand from the Saudi Barbaria to pay USA to bury the brutal murder and dismemberment of body? This is true. For anybody who isn't aware, Pompeo had a 15-minute meeting yesterday with MBS, and then all of a sudden, $100 million turned up in American accounts from the Saudis that they had promised back in the summer. I sent a tweet out about this. It was, we'll investigate ourselves, don't worry. We'll investigate ourselves. We didn't kill him. We're very sorry about this. We're only trying to interrogate him. The axe slipped and chopped his head off. Oh, by the way, here's $100 million. We cool now, fam. It's just jumped on me down to the bottom. My apologies if I miss people. Cheryl Brandon, Senator Richard Black is anti-war. So is Jake Morphonius, and so is others like Rand Paul. Rand Paul is horrible on nearly everything, but with regards to free speech and war, he is right in my corner. You can work with people like that, not obviously on home policy, but foreign policy. You can work with people like that. They're principled. Your accent sucks, says Arabian Stallion. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't like my accent at all. Americans seem to, though, which is cool. Steve from Paloka says, Gordon, the right-left meme is bullshit. There are only masters and slaves, 5,000 years and counting. Nothing has changed. I am Spartacus. Left-right paradigm is superseded, says Neil. I'm all over the place. I hate both big business and big government. Corbynites want the government to run every aspect of their lives. I agree with you, Neil. I agree with you. I don't want the government to run every aspect of my life either. There's a bit of a cult of Corbyn that does. I don't want that. But then again, I'm not a socialist. If anything, I want to take the whole system and throw it in the bin and start again. That's what I want to do, Neil. You and me, buddy, let's get together and sort the world out. We'll chuck the system overboard. Thank you, the Arena Uncensored. I really appreciate that. They are going to blame this on Julian Assange. You know what I am honestly looking for on Twitter and that sort of thing. I am desperately looking for the first person to blame Khashoggi's murder on Russia. It's coming. I promise you it's coming, and I promise you when it happens, I will be the first one to do a video of it. I am desperately scouring it. I know it's coming. You know somebody is going to try and spin this and blame Russia. You know it is. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they try and say it's Julian Assange either, the Arena Uncensored. Thank you for your donation. I appreciate that. Greetings from Bosnia. Hi Conjay2411. Greetings to you. It's game over for MBS, says Baradoon. Arabs are embarrassed with him. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I just don't know how they are going to spin this. I really don't, because this is way too much of a coincidence. Not a single person on the planet, I don't think, will believe that this is an accident. Not a single person. Cheryl Brandon, 10 USA senators actually wrote the president of Ecuador demanding that Julian Hedge is on a platter sooner or not later. Yeah, I covered that in a video. Sets, thanks for your donation. Set says Susan Sarandon did it. They'll blame everybody. They'll blame everybody without any money and power, won't they? They just will. Oh dear. Barney says, I think Putin is somehow involved. Yeah. It's Putin. Putin did it. Alright, this is not going to be a long stream, guys. I just wanted to come online because this is huge, and I'm going to be absolutely on this like white on rice, just trying to decipher how the West spin this and decipher their crap. I've got a feeling that the West now, because the veil is totally off, I've got a feeling they're going to have to report this in the correct way. I wish that the media and the governments, the US and the UK governments especially, I know the governments around the world, I know I've got people in Canada and Switzerland and other Germany and other countries and Australia that watch my videos and subscribe to me, but and their governments are just as bad. But I wish that they would have covered Yemen and been as outraged at Yemen as they are about one journalist. And I wish that they were as fair with Julian Assange as they have been with this poor guy Khashoggi. It just shows the hypocrisy. Well, that's another video I've done today, the hypocrisy of the media. Alright, I'm going to go now. Thanks very much for all your support, everybody. I couldn't do it without you. Until next time, take care. Peace.